Hey everybody, it's good to see you. Thanks for being part of our video announcements for this week. I happen to be here today with my friends Hillary and Maria, who are part of one of the really special programs that we do here at Trinity. And you probably have heard about it. It is called Waffle Church. Right? And people will say, if I'm sure you've heard about it. You may be like, oh, yeah, I know what Waffle Church is. Everybody says, what is Waffle Church? Well, it is exactly as it sounds. I mean, it is one of those few things in church that is exactly what it says, right? It is waffles and church. And just a quick background, I think for both of you, I don't know if both of your families were there at the very inception. You all were your family. At the very beginning of Waffle Church, the whole idea of Waffle Church was always, we saw this thing at a church in New York City that did something kind of similar. And, at the time, Aaron Kircher was on staff and, said, hey, here's this thing. And we're like, what if we had waffles in church? And its idea was for anybody to come. And it truly is for anybody to come, but with a special emphasis on families with children. How do we accommodate families with children because, well, you all have little kids, right? And coming to church with families, it's a transitional kind of thing, right? I think you loading up, I don't know when the last time was you took a kid to church, but it's a thing, right? It's a thing. It's a thing. It is an event, right? And you come, and you got all this stuff, and so how do we kind of help ease an entry in for families, especially families with small children who have all of this stuff? I mean, if it's been 50 years since you took a kid to church, let me tell you, there is stuff, right? So this idea kind of came up that we were going to have this thing called Waffle Church, and the idea is about fellowship and worship and time together and food. So tell us a little bit about your experience and what that's been like for you all.
I think it's funny that you said it's literally waffles in church, because I just had my little 7-year-old neighbor ask me, what is Waffle Church? Because he heard my boys talking about it. And I said,
yes.
It's where we have church and eat waffles. It's very straightforward. When we first started coming to Trinity, we tried regular service first, and everyone kept saying, go to Waffle Church, go to Waffle Church. And we did, and we were like, oh, we can do this. I mean, we can do service now, too. Our boys have gotten really used to it. But it's funny, I asked Nick and Cal, they're 7 and 4, what they loved about Waffle Church. And Nick loved the craft table. He loves art. And Cal likes the music and sausage. So, but we've appreciated it as a way to connect with other people, families, and also people who don't come with a truckload of kids, because we always sit with different people. We never sit with the same people every time. I love it because my children eat, which is a big deal because my children don't eat everywhere we go. They're kind of picky, but they have come to know Waffle Church and what to expect, and it's a place where all of us can eat a meal and understand a little bit more about the Lutheran service.
Yeah, we started coming here during COVID, so it was really tricky. We'd sit over on the side, we'd look out into the audience or the foyer, and it was like, who are these people? I don't know anybody. How do I get connected? And we had some friends that were going, and Waffle Church had just started, and they said, well, hey, come to Waffle Church. And I said the same, what is Waffle Church? What is this? And when we went, it was a pretty small group at the time, but it was so easy to just go and be. It felt like chaotic in the best way. not chaotic as in crazy, but my kids could run around. I could sit at a table and chat. I didn't feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I picture church events as a networking event where you feel, how do I say hello to somebody new? And this just kind of breaks that ice. I felt like we all love waffles. We can all share a meal. And then my kids always felt really connected. They felt like, oh, this is kind of for me too. And it was just easy, I think, for all of us to be in the environment. So we just love it.
Yeah. One of the funny things is that my grandson has this ongoing dialogue with us. Now, my grandchildren live in Charleston, South Carolina, and they have this ongoing dialogue with us. And finally it dawned on Noah that, well, the reason Papa and Grandy do not move to be close to them is because they have Waffle Church. and that's why we don't come and live next to them. It's because we have Waffle Church. But there is that, that it does have this resonance for children. And certainly ordinary church has a lot of things going on for kids, right? And the ability to approach that. But that sense of how do we create a space for an entry point for families to kind of get used to us and get used to who we are and get used to some of the things that are important to us here at Trinity. It feels like it's a way to do that. We have talked also in the past, especially early on in the time, that of all of the things that we do here at Trinity, the thing that is most resonant with early Christian community is probably, honestly, Waffle Church. I mean, from what we understand about first Christian worship, early Christian worship, it was, people who got together probably on Sunday evening, probably from a variety of different places, and they ate together. I mean, we have that strong sense, and it's resonant in some of the things St. Paul says, that they got together, they ate a meal, and out of that meal, then they told a story, they told a Bible story, they thought about that story, and then they had communion, right? Which is exactly, only they probably we don't take a waffle, we don't consecrate waffles, but, that sense that we replicate this thing that is at the deepest heart of the Christian story of how do we form a community. It's Waffle Church. That's what worked for the earliest Christian community, to gather people together, eat sausage, or whatever it is that I'm assuming people brought together things that they wanted to eat. You may not know, or maybe you do know, Waffle Church has been on hiatus for, we thought, right, 2 months?
Too long, yes.
And that was all because we had to put another coat of sealing, of epoxy on the floor, so we had to close for that week. And then the first week of the month was Easter, and then I don't know what happened the third Sunday of the month. I mean, I don't know why we didn't have it. There was some, it made perfect sense.
There's a lot going on.
It made perfect sense why we didn't have it. And then this past week was May Music, which was then a thing. Now we're back to this coming Sunday, May 18th, being back to Waffle Church. So as we're kind of getting back, we want to make certain that you all know that Waffle Church is this thing, and we'd like you to come and be part of it with us there on that time. We kind of joke, you get a full frequent worshiper point. You get full credit for coming to Waffle Church. You get full credit for coming to Waffle Church. And you get to have waffles and do something different. What would you want to have anybody else know about this thing that we do?
I mean, I think just come as you are. Don't feel worried about, there's people I don't know, I'm not sure where it is, what's going on. I think it's so welcoming, and all the people welcomed us with open arms. When we came for the first time, now we can be that for you, and you can be like, hey, I saw you on YouTube the other day talking about Waffle Church, and we're happy to talk, happy to introduce our kids and just hang out and chat. And then when we come back here as a community and bigger church, it just makes that community all the more richer, is because I can say, hey, I met you at Waffle Church in a smaller environment, and now we can do life together otherwise. And that was just really has been great for me. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Just come late. That's something, there's 5 of us now. We have an 8-month-old. It's just hard sometimes to get out the door on time. And with Waffle Church, you can come 5-10 minutes late and it's still wonderfully chaotic. And so you just kind of jump right in. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Yeah, so many of us have been to Waffle Church for a while now, but we remember so much like what it was like to be new too. So we're there to help. Even my 4-year-old now has the confidence to just go right up to that line and get his food, for better, for worse. But he'll be there to help too. And just do as much or as little as you feel comfortable doing. There are weeks where my kids spend the whole time at the art table and they're listening, they're picking it up because they're singing the songs at home. But there's also some weeks where they want to participate fully, and we just let them do whatever is comfortable. And we let them have a little freedom too, if your kids are comfortable with that. A lot of times Andrew and I just kind of get to sit at the table. And Pastor Lee is always hanging out with the kids at the art table and making her rounds, which we really appreciate. But we all kind of look out for each other and each other's kids. So just come and participate as much as you want. And feel free to reach out to either of us that you see there or really anyone, because I think a lot of us young families are at this moment of just really excited about the community we're building at Trinity and the ways that we can plug in as individuals, but as parents, but also for our kids. And it's just a really exciting time. I feel like we're at the cusp of a really great moment. Come join us for that. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. And for the sake of all of you who kind of have heard about this or haven't really popped in, early on, I think we had maybe 20 people for Waffle Church. I mean, that included the kids and the whole deal and the pastors and, the whole deal was about 20. Now it's about, on average, close to 90. And
when we survived out in the
area
out here, that was a lot.
That was a lot. That was, oh my gosh, that was like camping out. And some of us
memories.
Yes, and some of us, camping was never my idea of a good time. But so there is this whole community, and you should come and kind of take a look at it. And, I remember early, one of the conversations that people had with me was both, is this legitimate? And do people get stuck in the loop of Waffle Church? Which I found was an interesting kind of conversation. But you all are, evidence to the contrary that, Waffle Church has been this kind of entry point for people to come to this place. That you all are over in this area, and there's a couple of, like the Nussbaums always kind of sit back in that open section right where the pew breaks, that it really has been this entry point for so many people to our congregation and to our life together, and which is this really cool thing, right? That, it's really great. Yeah, this way to kind of get people to come together.
And I will say, we kind of have our rhythm now that includes Waffle Church, and I feel like you all too, because when we first started, our kids wanted to do it all. They wanted to do Waffle Church, and then Sunday school, and then service, and we were like, that's a lot of church, which is great.
You were almost here more than I was on Sunday morning.
In it. But now, because all the kids want to do something different, because now they feel like an ownership in all parts of Trinity, in the service as well as Sunday school. So we kind of do our Waffle Church and our Sunday school, and then the off weeks we do Sunday school and the service. So you'll figure out what's right for you. But I will say, there is a pattern to it that has worked for our family, but it's been a process.
Yeah. So if you can, come and join us on Sunday. If you can't be with us this Sunday on May 18th, it's first and third Sunday. First and third Sunday. Every time there's a first or third Sunday, you should come to come and take a look at it. If you don't have anybody in tow, hey, that's fine. If you have somebody else in tow, somebody you'd like to bring along, somebody that you'd like to introduce to Trinity, bring them along. If nothing else, you get a waffle out of the crazy deal.
And they're good waffles.
Yeah, the
food is good.
Yeah, they work really. They're kind of proud of the people who make that stuff are pretty proud of what it is that they do. So come and be with us. Come and be with Maria and Hillary and their families and all of the other families that come, and share us a few moments with us together at Waffle Church. And we will see you soon.